Hey there, beautiful people. Welcome back to Life Chats with Friends, your spot for all things self-discovery and authentic living. I'm your host, Antonio Stevens, and I am super stoked to dive into today's topic with you. Before we get into today's topic, as always, I just want to acknowledge that there is a lot happening out there in the world, and I hope that you are all continuing to take good care. This community is growing, which is so exciting. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. If you are returning, thank you for the continued support. These conversations are so important and will help us to create the new earth and world that we all so want to see and live in. Some quick housekeeping before I dive in though. We recently launched a new podcast website, lifechatswithfriends.com. Please go check it out. This will be your one source of truth for all things as it relates to this show. And we've also launched a blog there. On the site, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the landing page, you'll see that you can also sign up for our weekly newsletter for inspiration and exclusive content on your journey to becoming your best self. All right, so as we leap into the lively season that is spring, I hope that you can all feel the buzz that is in the air. It's almost as though the universe is nudging us to pause, reflect, and just soak in the beauty of growth and renewal. And today, as I record this, we're exploring something that's really been top of mind for me lately, and it's this idea that we are more than our jobs. And so we're going to be exploring how our identities go way beyond the roles that we play at work in our 9-to-5s. And what better time to do this than now in the heart of springtime, like I'd mentioned, this fresh start wrapped in sunshine and blooming flowers. You know, I'm coming to more and more realize that change is constant, growth is inevitable, and it's all around us. And as we soak up the sights and sounds of this beautiful season, let's just go ahead, pause again, and take a moment to really reflect on your own journey. So, what seeds have you planted in the last 6 to 8 months, and what dreams are you starting to see bloom? And as you think about this, whether you're making big moves or small steps, just know that every bit of progress is worth celebrating. And with that, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So, who are we beyond our 9-to-5 responsibilities? It is so funny how we often introduce ourselves by our job titles, and it's almost like our careers become our entire identity, overshadowing everything else that makes us who we are as whole human beings. I mean, think about the last time that you met someone new and didn't mention your job. How refreshing was it to define yourself by your passions, your values, or your experiences instead? For me, most recently, I was at a party for a friend's surprise birthday in conversation with a few people that I had never met before, and decided to introduce myself without mentioning my job. And let me tell you, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders, and suddenly I felt more connected to the person I was speaking to. It is so easy for us to forget that we are so much more than the 9-to-5 routine, and many of us wait for the weekends to remind ourselves of that. What I want to challenge you with is, what would it look like to reclaim your power and really step into all aspects of who you are 7 days a week, 365 days a year. This is what I really, really want you to sit with today as you continue to move with me through this conversation. And the first thing that I want to look at and talk about, explore, is passion. And it's that spark that lights up our souls. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning, excited to tackle the day ahead. And for me, it is all about creativity. There is something just so therapeutic, thrilling, and powerful about having an idea and being able to bring that into physical manifestation, like mind-blowing for me. And this has been a driving force over the last year, and I'm beginning to realize just how important it is that I further my creative drive on a daily basis, day in and day out. And whether it's painting, hiking, or playing an instrument, there is something out there that makes each and every one of our hearts sing. And it's all about finding what brings you joy and leaning into that. So, how do we make time for our passions in our busy lives? Very, very simply put, it's by prioritizing them, even if that means carving out just a few minutes each day to do something that makes us truly, truly happy. As I recently read in a book, in the midst of the mind doing its dance with the entanglement of our day-to-day and the responses that come with that, the best way to continue elevating your vibe and essence is to lean into joy. Literally pausing for a moment and asking yourself, how can I find joy? And the truth is that passion is the secret to joy. And when you're feeling energetically depleted, this is the answer, guiding you to take the next best inspired action. The next thing that I want to talk about in discovering who we are beyond our day gigs is really our relationships. And our relationships are the glue that holds our lives together. And they're the ones, who make us laugh until our stomachs hurt, friends, family members, and they hold us up when life gets a little just too heavy. Think about it for a moment with me. Let's just sit with this. How have the relationships in your life shaped who you are today? Or how have they provided you comfort during difficult times or shared in your moments of triumph? I don't know about you, but the older that I get, the more I'm starting to realize just how precious these connections truly are. It's like each relationship adds a layer of richness and depth to the fabric of our lives. And so here's something for you to ponder on and think about. Do you give, or do we give our relationships the attention and the care that they truly, truly, truly deserve? It's so easy for us to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily life, and we forget to nurture the connections that really mean the most to us. And let me ask you this question as well. When was the last time that you reached out to someone just to say hello, just picked up the phone to call them just to say hello, or took the time to truly listen to what they had to say without any distractions or interruptions? You see, relationships require effort and they need to be tended to like a garden that you would plant outside with true love and with true and tender care. It's not just about sending a quick text or liking a social media post. It's about showing up for the people who matter most, even if it's not convenient. So, here's a challenge for you all, for you specifically listening on the other end of this. The next time that you feel overwhelmed by the demands of work or life, just take a moment to reach out to someone that you care about. Ask them how they're really doing and truly listen to their response. I promise you'll be so amazed at how much better you both feel afterward, because at the end of the day, it's our connections with others that really bring us the greatest joy and fulfillment. And I feel that from the bottom of my heart every day that I pick up the phone to call my mom or to call one of my best friends. Now, as we think about our relationships, one of the most important is that with force, or that which is greater than us or greater than ourselves and our work here on planet Earth. And what I really want to talk about is our connection with spirituality. And we've briefly touched on this here on the show and the power of the divine in times of need. But spirituality, which we know is as diverse as the colors of a beautiful sunset for some, it's about finding meaning in the interconnectedness of all things, while others, it could be tapping into a source of inner wisdom and guidance. I've always felt a sense of awe and just reverence in nature, whether it's the majesty of a mountain range or the serenity of, a quiet forest glade. There's really something about being outdoors that really fills me with a deep sense of peace and wonder, and the same as well gazing at the night sky. But spirituality isn't confined to a specific location or practice. It really is about finding what resonates with you and making it a part of your daily life and routine. And so here's a question for you to think about. How do you cultivate a sense of spiritual connection in your own life day to day? Perhaps it could be through meditation, prayer, or spending time in nature, or for me, it could, pulling tarot cards. Other people may share the same interests. It could also be through things or acts of kindness and compassion towards others. Whatever it may be, really pause and take some time to reflect on what brings you closer to your innermost self and the world around you. And as you think about this, never lose sight of this in the grind to climb the corporate ladder or chase your dreams. This is really the key to embracing your wholeness as a human being, as a whole, holistic, well-rounded human being. It's really time that we stop putting our lives on hold and dwelling on what if scenarios at the expense of prioritizing titles and monetary values. And I know this is easier said than done, and the reality is that many of us have families that we need to feed and take care of and things that we want to achieve. But one of the most valuable lessons I've learned in my life so far is that in the letting go of the constant strive for our desires and instead following the energy rooted in our intuition and our passions and our relationships, as I've already mentioned, we often find ourselves manifesting our intentions at levels far beyond what we initially anticipated. And so the key takeaway from that is just to remember that you have the power to take control always. And that could start for you today. As we wrap this conversation, I just want to leave you with this thought that you are way more, far more than your job title. And so before we close, I encourage you to take a moment to just appreciate the complexity of your identity, the passions that light you up, the relationships that nourish you, and the spiritual practices that ground you. And really just recognizing again that by embracing all aspects of who we really are, we can all lead more fulfilling and authentic lives. And so here's to celebrating our wholeness and living each day with true intention and with wild, wild, wild purpose. And if you feel inspired to share your thoughts with me, having come to the end of this check-in, this discussion, you can share your thoughts with me on socials. So I'm on LinkedIn at Antonio Stevens. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Life Chats with Friends. Feel free to hit the subscribe button and leave us a review wherever you decided to watch this today. That really helps us to continue growing this show. Until next time, please stay true to yourself, stay curious, and remember, you are enough just as you are. Much love and peace always. I'll see you next time for part 2 of our conversation with Dr. Andrea Holman for Mental Health Awareness Month. Sending much love. Take care, and I'll see you soon.